Tonight on Arisen Strength, the motivational podcast, we've got a special interview. Her name is Rachel Jury of Rocking Two Stomas. It's all about inspiration through awareness and motivation, so let's get to it because your time is right now.
You know I can't recall the day your dream became my life. I've lived an eternity with you by my side. You by my side. Like the sun and the moon I've seen, that your light reflects mine. And riding together we have conquered the skies. But for so long I failed to see the truth as I searched for a fantasy that lived within you. Said, how did you know that you'd be my angel when your wings were trapped into my heart? Where did you see that we would be wonderful and our dreams would live where we are?
Hello, I'm Shane Schultz, and this is the Arisen Strength Motivational Podcast. Folks, we do this show because we feel there are far too many dreams, talents, and capabilities that are being suppressed for whatever reason. Whether it be injury, illness, or life experiences, these are all situations that can have us being robbed of what it is that makes us special and unique in this world, and that's our passions. Here at Arisen Strength, we encourage people to pursue their passions in spite of the challenges they face. Now, how we do that is with our three-pillar concept. Number one, we support. Number two, we empower. And after all that work, number three, we have the right to celebrate. Folks, that's the Arisen Strength concept. Our goal is to help you be more than the challenges you face. But I don't do this show without my good friend. His name is Wayne the Hack Hacker. Hey, Wayne, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, Shane. Yeah, as you know, living in North Carolina. I'm going to keep mentioning that until I get used to it. And losing weight. And I'll tell you, a weird thing's been happening with my weight. It's now under 300 pounds. It starts with a 294 this morning. Wow. Even when I see the scale and I enter it in my little diary, I'm still having trouble getting used to saying 2 whatever, because it was always 3, it was always 4 or whatever. And so even now I'll see it like, oh, okay, it's 394. That's good. So I'll say it, but even in my mind, I'll know that it's 294. I'll see that it's 294, but it's that saying part that comes out. Then I'll hear myself say it, and I go, oh, no, that's not 394. It's 294. Okay.
Hey, baby, that's the reward, right?
Yeah. It's that mind, it takes getting used to change is can be difficult.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Speaking about change, we have a tremendous interview that we're going to be talking about tonight. It is with a good friend of mine. Her name is Rachel Jury of Rocking Two Stomas. What'd you think about this one?
This is an awesome interview, and I've said it before. For the last several months, it seems like you've been just raising the bar on getting guests and then doing these interviews with them, and they're just, each one is just higher. And, again, I'll say this, this may be the best interview we've ever had. I was completely awed. I was stunned. I think that the fans, the audience here, you guys are in for a real treat tonight. It's an old cliche. I laughed, I cried. This is just the most wonderful interview. I just love every minute of it.
Well, as you know, this show is really dedicated to help others that are more like us than we are different. And by far, this was one of the more enjoyable interviews that I had. If it wasn't the best, I don't really know. But the bottom line is it definitely was in the top 3 for sure. But it was one of the more enjoyable ones, probably because I could relate to so many different things. And she could relate to so many different things that you and I have been through. So it was really kind of cool. But she's got her own uniqueness too. And that's something that I think that the audience, when they hear some of the things that Rachel has endured, this is about the courage to shine, which is all about turning adversity into triumph. And I can't think of a better example of that.
Yeah. She's living life with purpose, as we talk about here. And during the interview, I think the audience is going to hear it. She's going to be hitting all the pillars and all the foundations, the accountability, the acceptance, the turning the thought, the support, empower, the celebrate, it's all in there. It's just really amazing. And for fans maybe who don't know Rocking Two Stomas, she'll talk about what these stomas are, but essentially they're basically openings in your body. A lot of times, some of these organs don't work, and so you have to get things out. So she's got, some multiple organ failure, and she's dealing with that. You wouldn't know it to listen to her. Upbeat, very well spoken, just, very loving, very caring. Certainly a lot of life experience, a lot of illness, a lot of, we talk about those things. Injury, illness, life experience. She's got all that, and she's moving through it. She's not letting these obstacles become barriers for her to realize, her potential, to be the most that she can be, and as we live life with purpose. It's just such a wonderful story.
Well, yeah, and Arisen Strength is all about inspiration through awareness and motivation. She hits both. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Actually, she hits all three. So it really fits. And, folks, there's just some interviews that you have that you just can't do it justice by talking about it with your own opinion, unless if you hear it for yourself. So let's get right to it.
Sounds great.
I'm here with my good friend. Her name is Rachel Jury of Rocking Two Stomas. Hey, Rachel, how are you today?
Hi, Shane. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Hey, it is really awesome to talk to you. And I got to tell you, when I get the opportunity to talk to you, I feel awesome. So it's really great to have you on the show.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
So tell me about Two Stomas. We've been trying to get together for a while now. You're part of the Courage to Shine series with Thomas Exler, my good friend, and yours. I had the privilege of being able to go to an Extra Feet conference in Philadelphia a couple weeks ago to see some pretty amazing people with this unique condition and everything that happened there. So why don't you go ahead and tell me what Rocking Two Stomas is really all about?
Okay, so Rocking Two Stomas is a blog that I started in January, and it's basically exactly what it says, I rock in two stomas. So a stoma is an artificial opening from the body where an organ will go out to. So the common ones are a colostomy and ileostomy, where fecal matter will go into a bag that's on your stomach. And there's also, which is not as well known, is a urostomy, where we will go out into the bag. So my bladder's been removed and I don't have a bladder anymore. So I've had a little bit of bowel is made into called an ileoconduit, and that's where the ureters are attached to that, and then out of that comes the stoma. And so I have a wee bag and a poo bag. They've got names. So I've got the ileostomy is called Bob, aka Bob the Knob. Don't know if I can say that, and the urostomy is called Squirt. And so I've had the ileostomy now since 2012, and I've had the urostomy for 2 years. So quite a long time. And I've been wanting to do this blog for a very, very, very long time. I've been dreaming about it, but because I'm dyslexic as well, I'm not very good at writing. And I had so many ideas that I wanted to get my story out there. I wanted to help other people, as much as I could. And I wanted it to be real. I wanted it to be honest. It's not all rainbows and unicorns, but it's not all like bad either. It's a process, it's a journey. And I think I wanted to show that journey through my blog. And I think in only the short space of time I've done it, it's done quite well. And I can't believe how much it's helped my own personal journey as well. Quite amazing how, I knew I would help other people, and that was my drive. I wanted to help people. And I used to work in radiotherapy and oncology, and I've always had that need to help people, and I still have that now. But actually, in me helping people and doing this blog, I've met the most amazing people that have the identification of have stomas and have illnesses that are similar to mine. And it's amazing. I never realized how important that is to have that identification.
Yeah, definitely. You were talking about how you've had this for a while. What I've noticed is that many of these types of conditions, it's something that people are born with, but you weren't born with yours?
No, I wasn't. So I was quite healthy growing up. I think I had a few bowel problems just in the form of IBS, but nothing major when I was young in my teenage years. Again, like I said, I did my degree in radiotherapy and oncology, and I was on placement in North Wales. And I ate chicken from Tesco's that was already cooked, and I got food poisoning from that, and I was very poorly. I was very, very ill, and I was in intensive care for a while and not well, and they believe that infection triggered off a rare genetic condition that I had already, but it set it off. So I have something called pure autonomic failure, so autonomic neuropathy, but it comes under the umbrella of pure autonomic failure. It was hard to get a diagnosis. I'm still not truly the pure autonomic failure, but a majority of my symptoms are. It's a condition where it's incurable, and it means that my organs started failing. So my bladder and my bowel started failing. So when I qualified and I managed to get my degree, I started working in Bristol, and my bladder wasn't working. So I was getting loads of urine infections. I was unable to empty my bladder. And it was really quite shocking because the urine infections were coming one after the other. I was in retention all the time, so it was very painful. And I was trying to just start my, I suppose, post-grad life, working, and it was quite difficult. And I remember they got me to self-catheterize. So I remember, like, because I worked in a hospital, the nurses didn't have time to show me, and they just gave me the box and said, you need to do it yourself, and I lived with a urologist at the time, so he was outside the door trying to teach me how to do the self-catheterizing, and it was all pretty hard and traumatic, really. And working in the hospital didn't help me with my being a patient. It actually hindered me, because I found that they assumed I knew things which I didn't. So eventually, when I was working in the department, things were progressing more, and I was self-catheterizing 12 times a day, running around the department, not able to do it. It was really hard because it's a very busy environment. And they eventually gave me a urethra catheter, and that was hard, and as soon as I had the urethra catheter, they're not designed for people really who are moving about a lot. They're not really designed for that. It was difficult. I was unable to keep my job. And then I knew, I had this feeling, I said to my friend, if I leave now, that's it. I don't think I'll be coming back. And that's what happened. I couldn't work there anymore, because at this time, my bowel then started failing. So then I left work, and then my bowel started failing, so my bowel wouldn't empty. At the time, it was quite a hard time, because nobody really knew what was wrong. Yeah, it was a bit difficult, because they were unsure what it was. I was being misdiagnosed different things, and that was quite hard in itself, and not really knowing why my bladder was failing and my bowel was failing.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. So you had food poisoning.
Yeah.
Then obviously you got sick, very sick.
Yeah.
And they are saying, when I say they, the doctors, are saying that you had something that was dormant within you, which then went into full effect. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they believe that it was a genetic predisposition that I already had, and they believe that the food poisoning that I had triggered off this genetic predisposition. So this is where it affects the autonomic nerves of the autonomic system. So all the organs that attach to the autonomic system, so the bladder, the bowel, the small intestine, and the heart, all get affected. And it's a progressive thing. And from my knowledge, it's quite hard, because a lot of people represent differently. Like some people will represent or have more Parkinson's-like symptoms, where I don't have that. I have more, it's my internal organs. It's quite complicated. It took years. I've only been diagnosed the last 4 or 5 years. And I had to go to London, UCL hospital, a specialist neurology hospital in London, to get a diagnosis. And then, because there is no cure, I kind of sort of had to get discharged from there, because I understood that there was nothing more they could do for me, and they have so many more patients they can help. And then that's when I kind of decided that, life I wanted to grab as much as I could.
All right. So we're talking about a neurological disorder of which is now affecting your organs. And you mentioned the heart. What is it doing to the heart? Because you start fooling around with the heart, that's not a good thing. When you start fooling around with the organs altogether, it's not a good thing. So what does it do to the heart?
So the heart, how it's actually is that I'm very tachycardic. So I'm about 130, 140 at rest, and that's really quite high. And for me, I haven't really gone much higher, which is quite good. But that's how it represents with me is I am very tachycardic. Like, the disease itself affects the organs are well. It's the nerves affect how they work, so they don't work properly. So my heart is working extra fast. So the heart itself at the moment, they're not very concerned about. It's not much of an issue. They're more concerned, I'm now in kidney failure. So they're more concerned about the kidneys. And because since I had my bladder removed 2 years ago and my ileal conduit put in, the urostomy, I've had sepsis like on a monthly occasion. And that's why Shane and I keep missing each other, because I've been in hospital twice since I really spoke to him. It's hard. And I think having sepsis so much, I think I had sepsis about 8 times last year. It's damaged my kidneys, and it's put my kidneys in trouble.
Okay. So you mentioned the organs, and I know quite a bit about it because of my background as being a medical billing specialist. I've worked with U.S. Oncology Hematology. I worked with a cardiologist for quite a few years, and I know a lot about the kidneys. So you mentioned kidney failure. You kind of just like went right on by it. But, I know what kidney failure is about. So what's going on there? What are the options that they're giving you there?
Well, I have had the dialysis option, but it's not something I want to do. I've looked into it. I've spoken to my GP and I've talked about it, and it's not something I really am wanting to do, because I think I get the sepsis so much that although it might increase my life, it's got so many more problems attached to it. And I think at the moment we're in agreement that that's not the option that I want to go down. It may change in the future, but I'm quite happy where I am. I'm quite happy the place I'm at now.
Okay. All right. So you're turning down dialysis. Unfortunately, when it comes to the kidneys, there really is only one thing that helps the kidneys or actually sustains the kidneys, and that is dialysis. Rachel, are you saying you're terminal?
Yeah, I am. And I find that really hard to admit, but I am, yeah. I was terminal before I came into kidney failure. I was terminal with the condition, with how it's affected the organs. I was given a prognosis with it. I'm never given time, but I've been told I'm terminal, and it's on my medical letters. But I find it really hard to admit that I'm terminal, because I was saying earlier, I don't feel terminal. Like, my physical body feels terminal, but my heart, my spirit and my soul and my mind, I'm the happiest I've ever been. So it's like, for me, it's like sometimes when I hear it, I just think, oh, is he talking about me? Because I don't really respond to it in the same way. I talk about it very matter of fact, and it's a word for me. It doesn't have the impact as it would for anybody else.
Yeah, I'll say. Folks, I got to tell you, I've had quite a few conversations, number of hours with Rachel. Like I say, I enjoy every single one of them. And we were having a conversation at first, and you had mentioned the word terminal. And it was almost as if like it was any other word in everybody's conversation for that day. And it just went right on by. And I'm like, did I just hear what I thought I heard? So I held back. I didn't really jump on it. And I sat there and I waited. And then next thing you know, a few minutes later, the word terminal came by again. And I'm like, I know I heard it that time. And it was so, okay. I waited for you to finish what you were saying. And then I said, Rachel, can I ask you a question? And you said, sure. And I said, what is terminal to you? And, it was like, holy cow, right? I mean, it was all of a sudden, I had a lot of things going on in my head. And that was that, this very well possibly could be one of the last, if not the last interview that you give. But let's get it rolling here, folks. I mean, this is inspiration through awareness and motivation. And trust me, we are going to get motivated. They didn't give you a certain time as to where obviously your demise would be pronounced, but they did say that you were not to make your 30th birthday. Rachel, how old are you?
I'm 30. I was
right,
30 on Halloween of last year.
That's right, baby.
Yeah, I made it.
So we're still rocking. We're still going, and we're rocking 2 stomas. And I was sitting there and I was saying, okay, we're going to sit here and we're going to make this the very best interview that we can make for this young lady. Now, you also do quite a few interviews, and that is with your own show. You do a show that has to deal with IBD. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about that?
Okay, so IBD is SLAM, inflammatory bowel disease, so it can be in the form of Crohn's, colitis, diverticulitis, and the show is called the IBD and Ostomy Support Show, and if you type it into YouTube, it comes up. We are live every Thursday at 8 p.m. UK time, but you can catch up on us anytime, and we are a group of 4 amazing, wonderful women that helped me so much in the short time I've known them, that we all have stoma bags for different reasons. So there's 2 girls have got Crohn's, the other one's got ulcerative colitis, and although my stoma bags weren't due to IBD, I have now developed colitis and diverticulitis because of the stoma bags and the complications I've had with picking up hospital infections like C. difficile, having problems with the pressure in my bowel. I've now developed this IBD. So these girls contacted me and they see my blog and they wanted me to be on the show, and I was just so honoured and amazed that anybody would want me to be on there. It's really good because we deal with different topics. We have 1 or 2 topics every week. So tomorrow we're talking about mental health and ostomy and how it affects you when you have a diagnosis or when you have a stoma, if your mental health has got better or if it's got worse, and different subjects. As relationships has been quite a good one, and we haven't yet covered sex, but I do believe that's going to be on the cards, and food, and there's quite a lot of issues that what we wanted to do is, if people felt alone and they felt that they didn't really speak to anybody about it and they didn't have that identification, was that they could tune into us and watch us in a relaxed atmosphere talking, and they could see us as well, and we were just having a general conversation, almost like a fly on the wall, about what it's like to live with the stoma and the problems that we occur and the positives out of it as well. The reason why I think the 4 of us were picked was because we are quite positive people, and although have hardships and have bad days, we all together have found a positive experience about it. And I think it was about that. It was about the identification for people who are going through a similar situation, and that it was more a friendly atmosphere to help people who are just having surgery or have been years having surgery. You know, it wasn't until I started my blog, I hadn't met hardly any people that had stomas. You know, when I first got my ileostomy, this patient, I will now always remember her, and she showed me her bag, told me to name my bag, and that really stuck with me. And I think whenever I'm in hospital, when I'm in with sepsis and I meet new osteomate patients out there, I make sure I speak to them and I kind of give them the same information that was given to me. It's like giving back. And I think that's what the show does, is we're trying to give back and talk about things that they might not have talked about with anybody before.
And it is a really awesome show. It's a video podcast, basically, right? And you're on YouTube discussing a whole lot of different topics. You know, I definitely took a look at it. But, you know, you mentioned positivity. I got to tell you, talking to you just brings out positivity. I think you are just meant to be. Your main thing is that you want to help people, isn't it?
Yeah, it always has. Since I was little, it's always been, I want to help people. And, you know, that's why I went into the job that I went into. When I wasn't able to work anymore, that something broke in my heart, something died that day. To not work in something that I always wanted to be since I was young, working as a therapy radiographer, and to not do that was hard. And I think now it's a really bizarre and ironic. It's like the universe is having a laugh with me, because now I'm in the same sort of field, like giving back and helping people, but I don't have the professional head on. So I'm just talking purely from my experience and what I've experienced. You know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical profession, and in that way, so you need to go and speak to your GPs and medical profession. But from purely my experience, I can share my experience for others. That's kind of, I'm giving back now, which is what I wanted. I was 21 when this illness first hit me, and I've had 9 years of feeling all the emotions, you know, feeling lost, you know, feeling really depressed. I had an eating disorder as well at the time, because I couldn't cope, not knowing what was wrong. Like, my body was so out of control. The only way I could actually control it was not to eat, and I didn't. I went down to a very worrying weight, and it was my partner at the time that took a picture of me in the bath, and he showed me and he said, like, look how bad you are. And it kicked me into thinking, this isn't how it's supposed to be. That got me out of it. And then when eventually I had a diagnosis, I got much better, but it's been a process.
It has definitely been a process. Hey, we are talking to Rachel Jury of Rocking Two Stomas, and we will be right back.
Hey everybody, this is Cynthia Covert of Dishing with the Disabled Diva. Join us Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern and on demand. We're taking the dis out of disabled so you can have a better life. It's all about support, hope, and fun on Saturday mornings, right here on the Speaking to the Heart Radio Network.
Hey, we're back here, and I am with my good friend. Her name is Rachel Jury of Rocking Two Stomas, and that is really kind of cool because she's kind of cool too. You know, Rachel, each hour that we talked, it came really evident that we have a lot in common. One of those things is we are both in recovery. Now, I personally in recovery as being a compulsive gambler, but the bottom line is that I'm an addict. What are you in recovery for?
So I'm in recovery because 2 years ago, October the 27th, I was addicted to my pain medication. So I given prescribed medication that I became addicted to. And although I never actually got it illegally, I did manipulate doctors to get more scripts. And I became addicted to my medication, where originally it started, I was taking more because the pain was bad and I was not able to deal with the pain. And the catheter I was given with at the time was damaged in bowel, and I was getting horrific spasms. And I was so deeply unhappy that I started one became two, became three, became four. It just spiraled, and I didn't even realize I was an addict until I tried to kill myself, and I got pushed into recovery pretty much by people that were in 12-step program.
Yeah, that's another thing that we're very common too, and that is suicidality. I've made a number of attempts to take my life off of this earth, and that's why I know what it is that I'm doing right now is what I'm meant to be doing, because every single thing that I tried really wasn't working out well, and I kept on coming to the point as to where I wanted to take my own life. And then I came to my Arisen strength moment. And, you know, we talk about Arisen strength. We have our pillars and our foundations, right? You know, our pillars are to support unconditionally, to empower people to be more than the challenges that they face. And then after all that work, and it is a lot of work, just like 12-step is, and when it comes to recovery, we have the right to celebrate, because I don't think people reward themselves enough. What do you think?
No, I agree. I really do. I think for me, like I didn't set out that I wanted to be an addict. You know, when I was younger, when I worked in a hospital, I judged addicts. So for me to actually turn out to be addicted to pain medication, it shocked me and it shocked my family. And many times I was gouged out all the time. And in the end, I was doing 5 patches of fentanyl a day and about 25 Oxycontins. It just robbed me of, I was surviving. I wasn't living. I was just surviving. I was just a mess. You know, I've got pictures of me just gouged out, dribbling. I would be falling over. And I just didn't want to live. I had my bladder removed. I had my urostomy in place. I had such a horrific time in hospital, and I was in for 3 months in isolation. And a lot of my past came up, and I just couldn't cope anymore. And I just turned crazy after that. So I had my surgery in the July, and it was the October I found myself into recovery. And since then, my life has just taken off. It's just been unreal, like how I never ever thought I would be this happy and this content than when I was back then.
Yeah, me too. And, you know, I got to tell you, it doesn't mean that things are perfect, right? You know, and then of course on Arisen Strength, we have our foundations, and our foundations are, number one, take ownership of you, because your recovery is yours. And I'm not just talking about addiction, folks. I'm talking about recovery. I'm talking about, like what Rachel had mentioned, that she was just surviving. She wasn't living. I talk about it as merely existing. And that is where we're trying to get it across that, hey, take ownership of you. Get on the same page with your doctors. Get on the same page with your therapist so that you can make a difference for you. Then we've got the power of turning the thought. And this is one that I absolutely love because I am stubborn.
Me too. Very.
Right? I mean, the bottom line is you get an idea in your head, you get a perception of how things are, and you get this tunnel vision. And next thing you know, you only see one way of doing things, or you only see one way of things being. The power of turning the thought allows us to look at things from another point of view, look at things from a different angle, of which then gives us more possibilities. And so it allows us to be able to see what we could not see before. And then we have the freedom of acceptance. Now, the freedom of acceptance, that is one that really shows that you have the opportunity to live rather than just merely exist or merely survive. It allows you to say, hey, I can't do whatever it is that this is, but I can do anything else. I can do a whole lot else. You know, there's a lot of things that Rachel is not able to do at this given moment because of her condition. But I promise you, she does a whole lot. She gets a whole lot done. She gets her message out there. She is not shy in any way. Go ahead and take a look at the website of rockingtostomas.co.uk and tell me that this young lady is shy, because she's not. And that's one thing that I want to talk about real quick is people think that because they feel sick or because they feel what it is that they're going through, that they have to kind of assume a role, don't they? They have to assume, hey, this is where I put on some old sweatpants, an old t-shirt, because I'm just going to be laying down on the couch. Or this is where...
with neutral colors, or, you know, at one point when I was quite bad, I was just existing. But I never wore bright colors. I wore black. I wore jogging bottoms. I just didn't look after myself. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, exactly. That's what illness does to us. You know, this is what it is that we talk about with Arisen Strength, whether it be injury, whether it be illness, or whether it be life experiences. These are situations that can rob us of what it is that makes us special and unique. And what makes us special and unique is what we like, what we're passionate about, who we are. One of the things that you do amazingly, Rachel, is you show who you are despite what it is that you're going through. Mind you, folks, we had said that this young lady is terminal. This young lady is anything but terminal. So go ahead and tell me what it is that you were thinking and you continue to think about when you go ahead and you do your promotions. You got your website there. I mean, you are rocking to stomas, literally. So why don't you tell about it?
Rocking to stomas, like I said, I did it because I've wanted to write all my life, but now I've got this need inside me, like deep inside me, that I want to live now, and I want to live each day to the max. I've achieved, in the last 2 years of getting clean, I've achieved things I never thought I would achieve. I have an amazing relationship back with my mum. I have friends. I've got amazing friends, and it's so beautiful, and it kind of blows me away. And in that, I'm able to, even though I'm terminal, I'm able to kind of give back, and I want to live. Like, I will live each day to the max. I went to a gig with my best friend to London and I ended up in hospital for a week. And okay, it might have contributed to it, it might not have, but personally, I have that experience and I have that memory with her, and that was amazing. And for that, I just want to live at the moment. So at the moment, I'm really passionate so I have the 2 stoma bags, and I'm really passionate in the urostomates. So we're like the middle child of the stoma world. We're not as well known. Like everybody, when they think of stomas, they think poo. They don't think wee. And I've started this campaign with a few other amazing urostomates. And so people with 2 stomas are called double baggers. So the other ladies that are involved are double baggers as well. And we started because we found that we are kind of a bit isolated. People don't know much about us. And at the end of the day, anybody could end up with stomas, and anybody can end up with a wee bag. And we wanted to kind of focus that. So I decided that I didn't want to do it as an individual thing. So I didn't want to use my photo shoot that I did. I wanted it to be a community, because at the end of the day, we're a we. It's not an I, it's a we. Together as a community, we are stronger. We are trying to break taboos and stigmas in the media and to show that we're beautiful. Exactly how I'm rocking 2 stomas. In my photo shoots, I have a bra on with my bags out and a leather jacket, because I am proud of my body. I love my body much more now than I ever did before I had the stomas. And that's quite amazing. Something that I've heard quite a lot, because it is a journey. But in doing this poster, it's so amazing that really brave men and women have sent pictures in to make a collage. And there's a community of us where there are quite a lot of people that have ileostomy and colostomies, but we are in the minority. I'm really passionate to try and push that forward as much as I can. And I've hit a few roadblocks in the way, but we're still doing it, because it's something that I very much think it's needed. It needs more awareness, because anybody could end up with bladder cancer or have trauma or end up with any bladder diseases or anything like that. And I think it needs to be more talked about. And although the community as a whole, like the stoma community as a whole, has unbelievable thing I never thought would achieve. There's been so many pictures in the papers with people with their bags out, and they've really, in the UK and I think in America as well, there's amazing bloggers that have stomas. I haven't really met anybody that has a urostomy that has a wee one, or I haven't met anybody that is a blogger that has 2 as well. So that was something I wanted to kind of take in and push. I've had this drive in me, this purpose. It's deeply ingrained, that this purpose, I'm here to do more than what I'm doing now. And I didn't know what capacity back then, a few years ago, that was going to be. And it's like now, it's like when I go into hospital, I meet new osteom patients and I speak to osteomates and I speak to them and people contact me. And that's what I'm meant to do. I've had so much given to me. The NHS it would have cost me millions if I was in America or somewhere else. I'm very lucky that it's free. And I think now it's my time to give back. And that's what I'm doing. I love it. It's like I get obsessed with it because I'm an addict and I get obsessed with things and I overwork a bit too much. People could argue that I put my head in the sand and I'm a bit of an ostrich. And okay, sometimes it is to run away from the terminal diagnosis, but I've accepted that. I have accepted it. And it's like, right, I've accepted that and move on, because each day I've got is a blessing. And if I can help one person, and I just wanted my blog to help one person, then I've done my job. Even if it offends some other people, if it helps just one to feel that they can feel confident and sexy again, rocking their stomas with their partners or just for themselves. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to help show that, life, it doesn't stop you living. Because at the end of the day, I would not be here without them. And I've had to learn to love them. That's why I named them. Because although it's quite funny, the names, it's to build a relationship, to put them in a humorous aspect, to love them, to be able to like them, because they saved my life. I wouldn't be here without them. And, I'm very passionate that I'm trying to portray that there's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm quite open about it. I go to the beach, and I went to the beach on Saturday because in the UK it has been boiling. Okay, I know not American hot, but for the UK, 32 degrees is quite hot. And so we've been at the beach, we're in my bikini with my bags out. And this lovely lady gave me her, what's it called, La Sun Lounger. She was leaving and wanted to give it to me. She noticed the bags, but her husband didn't notice the bags. And he said, I wanted to give it to the pregnant lady. And then he realised that I had 2 bags. And that was really quite nice that somebody didn't even notice. And then we started talking, and then it turned out that his brother had a stoma bag and had reversed. And it's just amazing how there's so many people out there that have stomas, don't really talk about it. And I think maybe it takes different generations. There's different kind of taboos with different generations. But I think it's trying to breach that actually it is something to be that I'm proud of. And I'm not ashamed to show my body. I'm not ashamed to do these photographs. I'm proud of it because I wouldn't be here without them.
Turning adversity into triumph.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I don't just say that, I feel it in my core. I feel it deep down in my bones. I knew there was something that I had to do. And it's like, I've been through hardship. I've been through times of complete alone and lost, and there's nothing else. What has life got to give me? What else have I got to live if I've got this terminal diagnosis? How am I going to cope? And I've been through that where I thought, well, I'm just going to drug myself up into a stupor. But I don't want that anymore. I take pain medication, but I take what is prescribed, and it's not very much. I take that today, but I do not go above it. And I want to live today. I want to live and enjoy every moment and see what the universe has to offer me, because I'm quite spiritual like you, Shane. And I find that it's amazing. The synchronicities in the universe, it blows me away. When I'm connected, it's like the synchronicities, like how I met you through Thomas sending me an email. It's just amazing. Blows me away.
What a difference an email will make in a life, for sure. I know a lot about what it is that you're talking. I was at my very lowest. I came to the realization that I wasn't meant to be happy. For whatever reason, I was not meant to be happy the way that I wanted to be, bottom line. And I was really at a bottom point of my life. I mean, I had some tragedy happen, had a stroke in my life because of an attempt that I made to end my life. I was not doing well. And so then all of a sudden I came out and I said the right question. And I said, am I supposed to use my experiences to help another? And then next thing you know, my heart, of which I had not felt for 2 years, all of a sudden went ba-boom. And then off I went, because it was like I just followed along with what my higher power was leading me to, and it led me to Arisen Strength. And Arisen Strength had led me to the people that I got to know. It led me to Wayne. It led me to Joelle. It led me to Gina D. It led me to Angela Harding and the Harding family. It led me to Travis Barton. It led me to, and now it led me to you. It led me to Thomas. It led me to you. It's just amazing. And you talk about people who are dealing with stomas and extrophy and everything. We had Kirstine Lupton on the show. That young lady is pretty amazing. She won one of the most prestigious awards in the UK, when it came to providing as a hero, because of all the money that she raised as a very young girl for the condition that she had, as well as for the hospital that helped her get a little bit better and get her on her way to where she is now. So it is amazing, adversity into triumph. And Thomas always talks about that. That is the tagline when it comes to Courage to Shine. Here on Arisen Strength, we talk about helping you be more than the challenges you face. Now, no question about it, this young lady that we have here tonight, she's more than the challenges that she faces, and it really is very cool. Now, I got to tell you, folks, when I was talking with Rachel, I think I've said this a number of times now, it was a little bit different than what it is that I've talked and done pre-interviews with other people. There was like a kindred spirit that was going on between the two of us, and she's here mentioning the fact that she's terminal. I gotta tell you, my heart started like going crazy. My chest started feeling tight. My mind started to race. And I was trying to figure out what the heck is going on here. I've heard stories like this before. Why am I reacting the way that I am right now? And I came to the conclusion that I was supposed to do something. I just didn't know what that was. So we kept on talking, we kept on talking, we kept on talking. And then all of a sudden it hit me that I wanted to give Rachel the platform to be able to say whatever it is that she wants to say, how she wants to say it. And that's with the Speaking of the Heart Radio Network, which stems from this very podcast, the Arisen Strength podcast, that it all started out with. So we decided to make Rachel our UK liaison for the Speaking of the Heart Radio Network, and she absolutely jumped at it. You remember when I talked about that?
I know, I was smiling like a Cheshire cat right now. Yeah, I didn't even need to think about it. I just, as what Shane said, I was sort of positive, like talking to you. Like, you are very inspiring to me, and talking to you, I feel like I go a different level. Like, I kind of go a different level, and I just jumped to that. I would love to do that.
Yeah. And it's really going to be cool. It's, to give her the platform to be able to say what it is that she wants to say. One of the things that you want to say right now is that you're working on something now, right?
Yeah, the urostomy campaign. I've emailed all the outlets, and it's amazing. This poster, we've got people from America, from Canada, from Australia, from UK, like all over. I've emailed a lot of the media outlets, and I've not heard much back. My local newspaper, I think, is going to interview me tomorrow, so that would be quite interesting.
Cool.
But yeah, it's something that I want to push, and if it doesn't work this time, I'll just try again. You know, it's finding different ways to do it and what works and doesn't work and who's supportive or isn't supportive. I think that this is the first of its kind that it's been done in a urostomy setting. So that is something that I definitely want to go. But I just can't put into words that since I started my blog and since I started the show and I met the girls, and you know, these girls I love them. They are so good. Like, they tell me that I overdo it. You know, they pull me up. And at the moment we're doing them for the month of June. It's a self-love month. So we're doing, it's called Osteo My Love, #Osteo My Love. And at the moment they set that up because I was just doing too much. I just can't believe where my world is now. And it's like, I feel less terminal now than I did 2 years ago. You know, I felt more dead then than I do now.
Wow. Listen, I got to tell you, folks, if you're listening to this show, this is what it is that I'm talking about. Tell me that you cannot be more than the challenges that you face. Tell me that you cannot be more than fibromyalgia. Tell me that you cannot be more than RSD. Tell me that you cannot be more than mental health. I promise you, you can. If you sit there, you dedicate yourself, you purpose yourself, you live life with purpose, you will find a better life. You will make a difference in this world. It will make a difference for you. And that is what it is that we talk about here at Arisen Strength. Every single time that I talk to Rachel, I feel awesome. And I know that when people are going to listen to this show, they are going to feel pretty awesome. But where can they find you in order to be able to learn more about you?
So my website is www.rocking2stomas.co.uk, or you can find me on Facebook. I'm Rocking Two Stomas, and my Twitter and Instagram is the same as that. And it's Rocking with a G. The show is on YouTube, and it's the IBD and ostomy support show. And you can catch up on any episode that we do. And we also have a Facebook page as well.
Yeah, and it's important when you do Rocking Two Stomas, it's the number 2, folks, because she has 2 bags that she is rocking. Hey, I just want to say it is really awesome to have you here on this show. It is awesome to have you as a friend. It's awesome to have you on Speaking the Heart Radio Network as our UK liaison. It is just awesome to have you.
Well, it was just awesome to be on it, to meet you guys. And thank you so much. Like, it's because of you, you've encouraged me to speak more about the recovery, which I find very hard to talk to people in the UK about in the medical setting. You know, I have my recovery friends know about my recovery, but I keep them very separate. And it's really nice to incorporate my health and my recovery and how they've both, you know, it's part of my story. I can't ignore it. I can't ignore that side. You've helped me realize that. And so I'm really lucky to meet you as well. So thank you.
Hey, it is my pleasure. Hey, folks, listen, we are doing something new. I am doing something new, and Rachel knows a little bit about it as well. We are going to be utilizing our Facebook page, Motivated Strength. Now, there's a few pages of which is associated with Arisen Strength, and one of them is Motivated Strength. What we're going to do is that we're going to bring out a whole lineup of motivation in order to be able to help you go up another level, bring yourself to another level right from the start. Start your day off with a preset so that you can hit it and run into whatever it is that you're running into, whatever challenges that you have. Hopefully you'll be able to get through some of them that you might not have been able to get through before. But we're going to utilize Motivated Strength, the page. I'm going to be doing a few things with the Zubia company. The Zubia company, it's Zubia Live. So we're going to have a few things that we're going to be talking about down the road in the very near future. So keep on checking out Motivated Strength. I'm going to be on Facebook Live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But every single day we are going to have something that's going to be in regards to motivation, so as to bring you up to another level. Listen, we are unleashing our strength despite what it is that we're challenged by. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have videos. We're going to have affirmations, and we're going to have motivational quotes that we're going to talk about. It's going to be a really great time. I know that Rachel's going to enjoy it. I know that everybody else in the Speaking of the Heart Radio Network is going to enjoy it. Everybody that listens to this show, I'm telling you, it's going to make a difference. It's going to be a lot of fun. Rachel, it's been awesome to have you on, and I really look forward to working with you.
Yeah, me too. Thank you, Shane. Thank you for everybody for listening.
You can learn more about the Arisen Strength Motivational Podcast at our website at arisenstrength.com. And remember, your time is now.
The sweetest moment of life I ever knew was when I opened my eyes and saw that you were my truth. Said, how did you know? How did you know? You'd be my angel. When your wings were trapped into my heart. And where did you see? And where did you see? That we would be wonderful. And our dreams will live where we are. How did you know that you'd be my angel when your wings were trapped into my heart? And where did you see that we would be wonderful and our dreams will live where we are? How did you know that you'd be my angel when your wings were trapped into my heart? Where did you see that we will be wonderful and our dreams will live where we are? How did you know that you'd be my angel when your wings were trapped in my heart? Where did you see that we would be wonderful and our dreams